I know it's confusing now because we're on 3 different screens and none of them where we should be
where am I
looking.
supposed to look?
The camera.
Oh,
Down right at the viewers at home, because welcome to the Rambles. We're back on the show. It's me, and we got David here. He hasn't been gone.
It's been so long.
What, you were here?
I was here the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time.
He's the ghost of Christmas presents, even if you're shopping for presents.
High expectations and lots of disappointment.
Yeah, it's a Merry Christmas. It's like gin. It's like a crappy Christmas.
I also never got the G.I. Joe Land Cruiser.
Oh yeah.
Thing. That's actually a lie. I did. I actually got that. Yeah, I did. I got that. I used to have that.
I sympathize, and now I hate you.
I had the aircraft carrier. I had the aircraft carrier.
Did you have the Technodrome, the Ninja Turtles Technodrome?
No, I wasn't a turtle guy. I was a G.I. Joe guy.
That was my white whale. It was like that thing. You just the giant dome, and the laser came out of the eye, and you could open it and stuff. Oh, I wanted that so badly. My parents were like, "You can't have that."
Nothing like talking about Christmas before it's even Halloween.
It's both because we've got Christmas and I put up some decorations.
Yeah, spookies, and you're wearing the spooky.
I wear the spooky shirt. I have a total of $5 worth of theming going on right now.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah, so we're back, and we've got David here, and we're back at the show. We got some things.
I've been in Germany for weeks.
It's been in Germany for weeks. We finally got him out. He had to ride his motorcycle sideways along the fence and then jump it, but then he got caught in the barbed wire. It was a great escape.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, nobody
Germany was great.
got that.
I learned something. I learned that Essen is in the west coast, and it's very obvious it was bombed into the ground in World War II.
Oh.
Yeah, because everything's brand new.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
And industrial. It's like, hey, ain't no architecture here. Oh, no.
I thought you were going to say, I learned something, and then just not say it. I'm not going to tell you, though.
I learned a lot of things.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about Essen, obviously, because we've been teasing talking to you about it. Guess what?
It is new news. It's only a month late.
Yeah, well, it still counts. It's new to the viewers at home. Maybe they're going through this chronologically, and they've made it through the one episode where the mics didn't work, and then they made it through the one episode where the camera ate the SD card halfway through, and I just put nature footage in until we were done.
It's a learning experience.
And then
we only have 17 years of experience.
God, that's nothing. And the last episode went fine. It was a perfectly normal episode if you watched it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I watched the full 2 hours, so
Yeah.
I was really interested to know. And I actually was going to throw my own thing in there. I know you guys were talking, what's better, Star Wars,
Right.
Star Trek. I was going to throw it in here. Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, we have to do another episode?
So say we all.
Okay, so Battlestar Galactica. Who's against Battlestar? Like, you guys get Star Wars, Star Trek, that's a classic rivalry. Like Battlestar...
Babylon 5? No. No. Who would be against
Stargate? No, Stargate's really not spaceship sci-fi.
I don't know.
What did I say, Radorf?
Voyager.
That counts as Star Trek.
That was my favorite Star Trek.
That was mine too.
Voyager was the best.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. What was your least favorite Star Trek? Let's go ahead and get people in the comments just angry.
Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that's mine too.
Oh my God, did we just become best friends?
Whoa, sweet. No, I never got the idea of a Star Trek that was like, hey, what if we took all the cool parts of Star Trek where...
Put it in a space station?
Yeah, we put it on a space station, and then no one ever really
Couldn't
did a
get
lot of
into
stuff.
There you go. That is your drown for today. The worst Star Trek was Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I don't know. Are we counting, like...
The movies?
Enterprise?
Oh.
So, like, how far... Picard's got some...
I watched
Picard
like 2 episodes of Picard.
It made me sad.
It's not real.
It's just...
And I've never watched the new one. What's the new one with the lady from... Is that Enterprise? The lady
Discovery?
Yeah.
With the lady from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. I can't remember her real
You know
name.
what we're talking about.
I can't remember her real name.
You know what?
She died in The Walking Dead in the most pointless way possible. I'm going to kill myself, become a zombie, just so I can kill
Pop out of the
Negan.
coffin.
Pop out of the coffin. Pops to the coffin, fucking rail straight away. Yeah, okay.
It turns out that in a world where people kill zombies all the time and prepared for them, they were like, oh no! Anyway, I was going to say something really deep and thought-provoking about Star Trek Discovery, but I only watched GIFs of it, and I don't know anything about happens on it. I like Lower Decks, though. It was fun.
Watch Lower Decks.
Somewhere Joe is really mad because he doesn't like Lower Decks. He's frothing somewhere. I think it's funny. You can be funny on stuff. So let us know who Battlestar Galactica should go up against. What classic science fiction series?
It was a crime. Only got 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It's a crime.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's too far away to compare it to like Firefly. But like not, I don't know. That's
Firefly,
a hard one.
Man, if you watch Firefly and Void, you're like, man, this is crap. Sorry, it is.
No, you're not.
Firefly is just not very good TV.
I watched the movie, and then I watched the show, and I was confused because that's
Even
not the right order you're supposed to do it
even
in.
the movie wasn't that. It was entertaining. It just wasn't great. Anyway,
I like when the guy
what
kicks
we
the
got
guy
going
into
on?
the spaceship. It was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool.
So my events, I wrote down all the events, and they're right over there. You can see them way over there on my
that's
desk.
some really interesting events you got
yeah,
going
there's
on.
some cool events at Gigabytes. I'll put them in the comments. I know that tomorrow, Saturday, there's a Marvel Crisis Protocol event that you can come in, and it's the spooky Dracula thing. And I am trying to remember all the other ones that I know off the top of my head. The only other one I know is that there is an ongoing Age of Sigmar League, because you can look at all the cool new Stormcast coming out this week that weren't here when we started the show, so I don't have them, but they're out Saturday. If you know me or you're here from one of my other shows, you know that this is absolutely my jam, Stormcast, so I'm super excited.
We do have Spooky D&D on Saturday the 26th at noon. I would pull up the transcript. Oh, I can view the transcript. There is a video. I
kind of know this one. You show up and you pick a character. I think there's going to be a video launched, or it has already been launched. And you show up and it's a pre-generated character, and you see if you can survive in a spooky murder mystery kind of thing. I think we've actually talked about it.
You will traverse the unnerving landscape of the LD in Reach's Worry. Not 5th level characters will be provided. This is an AI transcript. I don't think this is actually what it's saying.
I like it.
All you need is dice, a pencil, and your courage. He's faced the Ghost Rider in all his nightmarish glory.
Which Ghost Rider? Danny Ketch, Johnny Blaze, Robbie Reyes?
Writer,
Ghost Writer. Yeah. Agatha Christie.
Like the Haunted Mansion ride. We're the best, all the best ghost writers, of course.
There's always room for one more.
No, there's always room for 1,000.
Oh, well, wait, hold on. I only rode the ride once every 20 years. I don't know. You have the merch. You know it better than me.
I do.
I liked it. I don't know if it's still there, but I liked when I rode it when I was a kid, the one part where it spins around and the ghost is sitting with you in the little thing. I don't know why. I just
follow you home.
I loved that part. I had the real weird skinny tall ghost, and he was like, hello. I was also riding the ride by myself because middle school Zach was cool. So what else is going on?
That's all I got.
Why don't I just drink this like
we have a regular, I know we have, I'm sure they have Foundations releases in like 2 weeks, so we have probably something for Foundations events. Yeah.
There's always a lot going on. Check out the events page that is linked somewhere. And like I said, there's a lot of new Age of Sigmar stuff, so come out and join the league. I completely forgot that it started last week, but I'm going to be there joining it this week. It's Path to Glory thing, which is really cool because you start with a little army and then you build up into a greater force, and it gives you a chance to like paint and actually learn to play it and stuff like that. So
someday I'll learn to play.
Come on out. Yeah. Well, we've got you sort of halfway committing to Old World, kind of, on camera, which is the most we've gotten.
Yeah.
So
totally committed.
I can teach you Spearhead. That takes like 30 minutes a game.
Just need to like actually have the models.
I think I know where you can get them.
Oh, where? GigabytesOnline.com.
Oh,
Just had to cut you out there.
Sorry. And you can also get some other stuff there and some other models.
Are you telling me I don't have to have James Workshop, Games Workshop branded games to play games of Workshop at Gigabytes? Oh my God, I'm copying that Rob Lowe meme I just saw.
That was exactly how I was going to say that word for word, so thank you. The title cards are actually in that order behind the screen. Yeah. It's just Ryan just holding them up quickly, trying to swap them around. No, you can play with other cool models if you want. You can play with some of these models in your other games.
What are those models that you have?
Okay, so this is where I have to be like, I have to look at the front of these a little bit. And none of them are going to show up on camera very well because they're in shiny packaging. So there's some new WizKids stuff, the unpainted ones, which are getting to a pretty good quality, like the bigger guys. Like I like them. I'm kind of digging them. Yeah, I think that this is
like cool. Oh, there he is, just crab folk.
Crab folk. Well, then you have
Mark Schubach is already on his way to get said crab folk.
He's already got his.
Or giant space ham. I really like they're trying to not be like fancy with the names. It's just like this is a giant space ham. This is a Marut, whoever Marut is.
Is that his name or is that the thing that
it kind of looks like the dwarf mechs from Skyrim, like like the dwarf robot things.
I hate those things so much because the first time you encounter them in the subterranean areas, they just
I like crab folk though. Crab folk is kind of cool.
Crab folk is pretty cool, and if you want to like squint really hard, there's a lot of the ones from Critical Role of characters that I don't know. You can get Laudna. Everyone likes Laudna. Remember that famous scene where Laudna tries to get all the groceries in the front door at once, but then she can't, so she has to go back. That was a great scene. So
how about Chetney Paco P and Werewolf?
I love that.
That is the name.
I love it. I like to get it medium hot.
The werewolf is like human sized, and then like this slight title, which I guess is like a gnome.
Does the gnome maybe turn into the werewolf?
I would hope so.
I don't know. I love when I get Chetney Pak Upia. I like to get it medium hot It's pretty good, yeah. I can't go any hotter than that, though. Yeah. Well, how about Orem of the Air Ashari and Fresh Cut Grass, which I don't know if that's the name of the guy in here or the laziest
How do you
model.
get from naming stuff from Crabfolk to, like...
To Imogen Tumult?
First of his name, ruler of the seven seas, like breaker of chains, Khaleesi. Like, where do you get to this that you're like putting 17 billion names on somebody?
I think, if I'm understanding correctly, I think these are characters from the Critical Role campaigns that are being played. I like that it says on the back, Universal Terrain Pads.
Critical Role. We'll see if it lasts.
That's a fad. Universal terrain pads can be swapped between figures. That just means you can put the base on a different base. But that's some marketing person went, I have to have 5 bullets. And I've only got 4 bullets. Universal terrain pads. I've been there.
Not worth being in a situation where you only have 4 bullets.
Yeah, it's true. You only need 1 if you're John McClaning it. Just one, shoot the wire, and the wire goes down. And all that stuff, yeah.
I was trying to remember.
Speaking of great Christmas movies.
The whole point was he had a machine gun.
Well, yeah, in the middle. Yeah, in the middle part. Speaking of great holiday classics and things, and no shoes, which cats don't wear shoes. This is a segue. Take it away. What's that?
Oh my God.
Get out of here. Whoop. That's the whole bit.
I couldn't think of something witty. It's actually just Boop.
It's Boop.
Boop. This is Boop the third. Boop the third.
There it is.
Boop the Halls. So yeah, if anyone has played Boop, Boop is actually awesome. My son loves playing Boop because it's just easy. You just sit up to bed and you just like start. He just throws the cats around. But
it's kind of the game.
But this is the Christmas version that just came out. We just got 90 copies. 90 copies in stock at Gigabytes. Yes. So there's a lot of booping going on.
But they sell out really fast.
They do. They really do.
I know that there's some. I have off screen a super rare
spooky
boop
that
you can't get anymore.
We have spooky boops.
Yeah.
Actually, that's called Boo.
It's called Boo. Or if you flip it over, Noob.
Noob. Yeah. Okay.
Or Poob.
Poob. So yeah, and so they all have their own little extra thing. I know Spooky Boop had like ghosts in addition to the regular things. This one, the humans are hanging ornaments on the highest boughs of the tree, and the cats are climbing and booping them right off. So actually, like this, it has multiple layers.
Yeah, I think I demoed.
I guess you boop them off to different layers before you can get them off the tree.
I think I demoed this at Gen Con, maybe. Maybe it was Gen Con. I have played this version of this game, and it's fun. Every one of them adds a little thing, but they're also like, you can learn this game in 5 minutes. It was because at trade shows, full disclosure, my brain is full, and I don't have time to learn whatever game you is. I love you. I don't want to sit there for 30 minutes as you explain your game to me. So Boop is easy because it's like
Boop is literally like you have to line up 3 cats in a row, and you start out with kittens, and then you can upgrade your kittens to cats, and then you have to line up 3 cats. Right? That's you learned the game. Good job.
I'm gonna whenever I have an animal get older.
If a cat is ever beside a cat, he boops him. They move directly away. A kitten can't boop a cat.
Of course. Law of nature.
Oh, well, they can. They just don't do anything. But in this one, it has the added mechanic that you can also... That's the nice way to win, but you can also win naughty, by knocking all 3 of your opponent's ornaments off the tree. So, okay, cool. I like that.
No,
it's $29.99. Like, I mean, it's pretty handy. Smirk and Dagger make great games.
That's the thing is we're talking about it and we're saying we have a bunch of copies. By the time this goes up, we will have less copies. And by the time you may watch this next week, there's even less copies.
Yeah.
So not to be like car salesman, but this does not stick around. The Halloween one.
A pallet arrived yesterday. I was sent a picture of the pallet. I was sent a picture and nasty messages by my staff.
Were they like, darn, best-selling games?
Best-selling game arriving in that we're going to boop out of the place.
Yeah.
But if you want to know more about Boop, you should probably check out this pretty cool video.
It's almost time for Halloween, so that means it's time for the special spooky edition of Boop. Get it from Gigabytes Cafe today.
Okay, great take, but you're holding the wrong game, so I'm going to need you to do it again, please.
Oh,
It's okay, man, no worries. Just from the top again.
It's almost time for Halloween, which means it's time to get your special spooky edition of Boop today from Gigabytes Cafe.
Okay, that was a great take, but you're holding the wrong game again, and I'm going to need you to go ahead and lose the hat, too.
Oh, sorry. I must have been more tired than I thought. It's almost Christmas time, so that means it's time to get your special edition of Boop the Halls today from Gigabytes Cafe.
Are you with me right now?
What do you mean?
What a great commercial that was hilarious.
Hilarious.
I loved it.
So good.
I loved it. Definitely, it isn't being edited right now.
Train actors.
Train actors?
Train actors.
Train actors.
Yeah, there's hobos that got off a train.
We were just chewing the scenery.
Hey!
So speaking of chewing, I don't have a segue for that one. You want to talk about going to Essen a little bit? We've
It was
teased
great. I actually
twice.
was on the train at Essen. Yes, I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, Essen was cool. You know, it took me, it was a fun 12 or 14 hours of travel. It was great.
Whew.
Best part was when I was driving to the airport and got halfway there and then remembered I forgot my passport. That was the best part of Essen.
They didn't believe you were a natural German-born citizen. You didn't think you could fake it.
9.
See, that means no in German. That's what he's doing. That's the joke.
Yep.
Yep. So if you don't know what Essen is it the world's?
Hey, do you know why a German can never count to 10? Because they always stop at 9. I had a different version where you know why a Mexican can't count to 10? Because they can't get past 1.
That's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the rambles today. We're canceled immediately. So
I was so equally abusive to both.
yeah, that's okay. As long as
But anyway, no,
it's a
Essen
shotgun
was
effect.
great. It was my first time ever at Essen. Was not ready for Essen. I
Yeah.
was not ready for what Essen is.
How big compared to like Gen Con? Well, every Gen Con you've
So
been
Gen
dying
Con
during
is, I
it.
die, I get sick. I got sick right before Essen too. I was
What?
like,
Can't take you anywhere.
I was really sick the night before and like inhaled like vitamin C just so I could get travel. So Essen, so Gen Con is what, 80,000 people or something like that, 78,000 people.
Yeah, I think last year
Essen
was 78.
is over 200,000 people go to Essen.
I wish
Like,
I'd had a
it
spit
was
take ready.
insane, and it is. I think Gen Con is the equivalent of like 2 or 3 halls. Essen
Mm-hmm.
was like 7 halls. It was nuts.
Isn't it basically like 2 city blocks worth of?
Yeah, I mean
convention zone?
it's super cool. And like the amazing part is you just see people and they just have carts and they just go in to just buy. I assume they just buy their games worth of like their year's worth of games, and just walk out with this cart. It was amazing.
Who?
It was amazing. It was so quiet and organized as well. Like like the Germans are going in with focus. And I mean, I say Germans, but like literally there was all nationalities.
gonna say,
I
it's
mean,
like, yeah.
everybody. Like there was. The funniest part was like walking in and just seeing people I know from here, from shows, and like, hey, there you are. Yeah, I can't do. I did do that by accident once.
It is always funny to be like go to trade shows and see the trade show people. I like when we go to shows and we see
Yeah.
the people from Atlanta. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh hey, you
The,
live
the
next
great
to us.
the great thing with Essen is like the amount of I didn't get to see a lot of games, right? So I was there for business for Bridge for Film Adarm, and yeah, and there's no
Neither of us have a
there's no
Bridge shirt on.
advertising today.
Oh.
So I had meetings all day, and literally was running from like Hall A to Hall C to Hall B to or 1 through 7 or whatever it is. But the amount of like just games I've never seen before that aren't in the US, like that was incredible to see.
It's like a whole other country over there. It's like a whole other
Yeah,
continent.
but the amount of games that just don't like like they say it's like 3,000 games or something released, some insane number that just can't be true is released every week, right? Like
That's-
thousands of games.
Yeah.
I'll well believe it after going to Essen because the amount that probably don't even make the US market is incredible. I mean, we had meetings with like creative game studios for like Dante. That's going to be amazing. It weighs a metric ton.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, meeting with people for all these different role playing games. So a lot of it was meetings with Kickstarters, right? So we met a lot of people on the Kickstarter fulfillments. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. Don't ask me about anything specific because my main memory is there was one where I was walking by and it was all about ducks and there was a dude just sitting in a hot tub in the middle or in a bath in the middle of the convention space. I don't know why. I don't know what had to do with the game.
But it made you remember it.
He was just wearing like like those shirts that look like the bare chest
Yeah.
and in a bat. That was yeah.
That's when your marketing manager gives up the day before the trade show and it's like, what are we gonna do? Just bring me a
Yeah.
bathtub. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take a bath. the
But
whole
for
time.
me, it was great because, like I said, like there's so many people you've never met in the industry that don't come to the States because you live in here, you think like this is it. It's like America is like the biggest market. It is probably one of the biggest overall markets. It's a completely different market there. And I got to meet a lot of our like Sound of Drums, which is one of my favorite
Oh yeah.
partners that we have here, and they make these awesome historical based games. Like they make the Napoleonic LEO. They made
The Hellenic,
History of the
yeah.
HNCs. I was trying to think of the name of it because it goes Hellas, Mare Nostrum,
Die something.
Ares. Whatever the name of that, it's a bad warlord titan in Warhammer 40k. Die Ares or whatever it is.
Sure.
It is.
Oh, okay.
That's how I know it. But he's making a lot of cool different games. So meeting him in person was incredible. We met our European fulfillment partners. That was great. but then you're just meeting with like people you see from here as well. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I think that like the scope of it, like you said, it doesn't make any sense because board games. Everyone in America, if you ask Johnny Smith on the street, who's not like a nerd, at board games, it's going to be Monopoly. Oh, I had Mousetrap when I was a kid. Like and even growing up our age, American board games, there weren't a lot of them, and niche ones like Hero Quest and stuff were like, oh, this is insane. I didn't know you could do this. I'm used to Monopoly or Scrabble and things like that. And to see that like that market has just continuously innovated.
It's an insane market. It was really refreshing. I felt very energized afterwards, and it's just a completely different focus to anything here. And it's just a different show, even though Gen Con just seems more like, I don't know if it's like hypey. Like it was very business-like at Essen. Like I'm going in, I'm getting those games, and that's what like it was. It's weird to say it was refreshing that way, right?
Are you saying that the German convention was efficient?
It was very efficient. I'm sorry, the stereotype's there, but it was.
The American one was loud, guns blazing.
Everything about Germany. Like, we got off the plane, right? So you fly to Dusseldorf, right? And you get off the plane and you have to get a train. You get a train to Germany, or to Essen. And one of the funniest parts was like, we're standing at a train station, I'm like, oh man, it's late. And this German guy told us, yeah, it's very bad. The train system got very late. Last week, it was late 2 minutes. And I'm like, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Oh, how dare they?
Sometimes
right at like 4:20, it just shows up and you're just chopping on the train. So
sometimes the MARTA shows up 30 minutes late and you're like, well, that one's not on fire, so that's good.
Yeah,
That's the good MARTA to get on.
Or in case of where I live in, East Cobb, it just doesn't because it doesn't exist. Because
why have that go out there?
Why have a public transit system in the northwest of Atlanta? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you could take one of the Coblink buses that are I don't ever see them stop, I just see them get in the way.
Yeah.
I assume they have stops somewhere.
Somewhere.
But all of our Coblink drivers.
So, I mean, that was my experience at Essen. It was 4 days or 3 days. It was very quick. I landed on Wednesday. I left on Saturday. So.
Did you give yourself a jet lag day to adjust, or were you just
I flew to Ireland, stayed overnight in Ireland, and then flew back to America.
I don't think that counts as a jet lag day. That's still moving time.
Then I came back to work on Monday, and then I left for a week.
He did. And he spoke German the whole day. It was really weird. We couldn't figure out what was going on with him.
Yeah.
This is the most nervous I've ever been for having to edit jokes after we've made this video. By the way, I just want to point that out. Like every time we start a thing, I'm like, all right, is this?
What's he going to say? I have 3 weeks of Ramble's bad puns to get out of my way.
Go, put them on the clock. Just put a clock up in the counter.
I'm trying to think otherwise, like, because it was such a blur. It was such a great show. I mean, I really should have thought about having questions to talk about beforehand. Food was great. I had currywurst.
I was going to ask about, like, what, besides the show, like, the outside show culture, because Gen Con, half of it is going out on the street and the street food
I made
a
joke earlier, right? You can tell Essen is a city. It's a very industrial city, and it's been rebuilt. So there's not a lot to do. I mean, we walked from our hotel a mile and a half, so it took like 30-40 minutes every time just walking to the show every day. But again, it's just different. It's quieter. Like Europe is just quieter. I guess the point to say is if you've gone to Gen Con and you've gone to like Origins and these different US shows, at least once in your life you should go to Essen, right? It's a completely different experience. It's like a religious experience, right? Gen Con's great. You look for it all year. Essen was like a religious experience for me, and I'm not even a big board gamer now. Honestly, I don't play a lot of board games. But I don't. But like even just getting in and walking around and just seeing all the stuff was super cool.
Does it have the same kind of culture of people going to play games as much as
no,
like Gen Con does?
That's probably the big difference. I think that's the big difference because, Gen Con has halls where people play games and, people are like lining up and deciding, maybe that is that Essen, but I didn't see any of it. Yeah. Like there was 7 halls of buying. Now, booths might have places to try and demo a game. Like, they'd have tables where you could play and demo. But there was nothing like... Gen Con has that giant halls that are just tables.
the noise hall.
The noise hall where I nearly died. That one.
That was several places, to be fair.
Well, the one where I sat down at a table and then had to...
I went and got you food, and I came back, and you just were laying down on the table, and I was like, well, that's it. That's it. I got to figure out how to get his body home.
It was awful. But Essen, I didn't see that anywhere. I didn't see a place where people would actually sit and play. There was no hall dedicated for just playing. Every hall was dedicated for. I think that was the thing. It was like you're coming here to buy your games for the year, and I wonder is that just because people play board games more regularly, or they maybe it's the smaller, more what's the word? compact atmosphere, like life in Europe. I don't know, where people like are more together
Yeah.
all the time. Like America works great because you have game stores, and that's where people go. Right, it's your third space
Yes.
that you play games. Right, you go home, you go work, and you go to your third place. And I think in Europe it's just different because that's just you play games with people. There's not really a need as much of it for a third place.
It's not like,
So I
this
think-
is the only time we're going to get our friends around. And be
Yeah, and
able
I think
to
that's the big.
actually do this.
I think that's the big difference. It changes how the show is. It's completely just to me it was a wildly different show. It was cool. It was good.
You heard it here first. Essen, different than Gen Con.
Yeah.
We got a hot take for
Hot
you.
take. Oh, I mean, it was bigger. Like, you're not going to go play games. You're going to go buy games. Right?
That's just, I wonder,
buying show.
so like, obviously, is there a lot of, like, indie stuff that goes in? Like, is it, because I know that one of the hard things for Gen Con now that I'm hearing from the business side of things is how hard it is, and
To
we
get
know,
in.
to get in, even
get
if you
in.
are an
Yeah.
established publisher for
Yeah.
years.
No, there was a lot of indie. There was a lot of small. There was a lot of small games. There was a lot of. I mean, every big like, Asmodee had like 5 booths. They told me.
That makes sense.
Games Workshop had like half a hall to
Oh,
themselves.
yeah.
And then there was a small, our partner Little Rocket was there, and they were awesome to meet, and they had their games. A lot of different, like a lot of small, 1 or 2 game publishers were there, and then you'd have publishers that were sharing 3 or 4 of them would share one booth, and make a super booth.
Super booth.
And I think it's a lot easier to get in because they have so much more space. Like the 7 halls opposed to 3, they weren't holding people back, and there was still room to expand. Like as you walk in, you walk through a half-empty hall. That's where everyone lined up to get in. But you could see, hey, if we need more space, we have this whole other hall. So I think if you just want to go to Essen and have a booth, maybe we'll go try have a booth next year.
We could. Well, I think we have somebody in the office who might know some German who could actually go over there and
It's
communicate.
true. It's true. I'm thinking of sending him to Nuremberg.
Yeah.
We'll see first. Yeah.
Once again, the most nervous editing I have to do is not saying the jokes I want to make.
Essen
on this.
Nuremberg Toy Fair. Thank you very much. It's in January
Yeah.
or beginning of February, I think.
It's going to be a real...
It's a show.
Show.
That's the B2B show. No, Essen was cool. I loved Essen. I'm going to go again. Probably try to go every year. I don't love to travel.
Yeah, I'm going to bow out until you make me for that one, probably. I'll do all the American ones.
Yeah.
I'm fine with all of that. Once the plane ride...
We're going to Gen Con next year.
Yeah, Gen Con, and maybe New York Toy Fair, maybe, which has been
yeah.
honestly a dream of mine since I was a child, and I learned that you could go to New York and Manhattan and look at toys, and I was like, I want to go to there.
Toy Fair, yeah. We should do a whole show on different shows because we got the Toy Fair, we got Astra in Texas, you got ASD, you got obviously Origins, Gen Con.
And all the little local shows too, like we just got a thing for Dice and Diversions, which is a local Atlanta show that's going to be open, I think, February next year. It's either January or February, but it is we're seeing about getting a lot of demo space up and really showing up in force there. I guess Gigabytes is learning about this the first time as well. Haha, you're on the line. And Southern Fried Gaming, which is one we love because it's always goes out and it's really cool to see. And we actually end up. Ironically, a lot of the games we end up getting through the wholesale channels come from those little local shows because I can watch them and go, they're really working it. They understand how to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's been great seeing a lot of the games coming up at Bridge that we've been picking up. I think Wild Seas has been exploding, that role-playing game. Wild Seas,
Yes,
that's
so
been great.
excited for that.
Um,
Chainsaw airships. You watch the videos. If not, there's a link
Chainsaw
below.
Airships. If you're a role-playing game, man, Bridge is we've really expanded our selection of role-play. That's it.
There's more on the way.
There's more. I just can't think of the top of my head, and I keep putting myself in positions where I'm supposed to come up with more stuff.
You're not reading your rule of 3 is airships, teneres, a third option, flabbergasted,
And more.
and more. We actually, there's a couple more RPGs that I have our resident RPG expert, Phil, looking over that have possibly wanted to work with us because we've been a little selective on what comes in, making sure it's really cool stuff to take to our retailers. So retailers, if you're watching, we're not trying to give you just, here's a thing that somebody gave us and we're going to sell it to you and we don't know what it is. Like we're actually trying to get into buying more, a little bit of a boutique kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also picking up games that, are well supported by their publishers and cool. Like the Wild Sea stuff is pretty cool. They have a line of comics as well. That's arguably it's going to do less than their RPGs because it's a little more of a niche thing, but it's the same team and they put together really cool graphic novels and stuff. So it's neat to kind of support that local indie thing.
No, it is nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the ending line. Yes.
When I don't have anything to say, I'll just play with the boot box. I'll just boop it.
It is fun. I kind of think we should have just opened one and just played Boop for the episode.
In silence, though. Just...
Yeah. You watch from the beginning of the shrink wrap off to us reading a rulebook going, oh, okay. It's a real exciting television. Yeah. That's I've been watching a lot of, because we're doing some board game videos, so I've been watching a lot of not competition, but other people doing them, and I do really love the ones that are very clearly we just put 3 cameras on and then learned the game on set, and I'm like, as a game person, I'm like, oh, that's interesting because I'm kind of learning along with them. As an editor, I'm pulling my hair out because I'm like, this is, you had 18 seconds of silence while somebody looked up a rule. Do something. Have somebody razzle dazzle the camera a little bit or something like that.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz
If in
hands.
doubt, jazz hands.
Get a Muppet. You do something with the Muppet. The Muppet's always funny.
What are you talking about?
He's,
There's no such things as Muppets.
Oh, that's
or
true.
puppets.
That's true. You definitely didn't get electrocuted and sent into a lawnmower man style reality and then come back, or maybe still be there. I don't know.
You can tell I have no producer oversight in any of these videos.
You weren't here. I have text message proof where I'm like, how weird can I get with this? And then you were just like, eggplant emoji, and I was like, okay, I'm getting weird.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Oh, I feel like this is a very truncated episode of the Rambles because
Yeah, it's been a quiet week.
yeah.
I mean, we have some events on page paper over there. Maybe
Yeah.
we have an advert for an event coming up soon.
we'll have maybe this whole thing has just been multiple ads that you've watched, and you're like, oh, that episode was terrible.
Yeah.
But that's what you get with the Rambles. Who knows?
Who knows?
It could be good. It could be. That's our slogan. It could be.
It could be.
But what I say on episode 1, the Rambles, it's kind of a show.
Yeah.
Kind of. So yeah, check out all the events online. And if you're a retailer with us, we have our Christmas. I know it's way ahead, but retailers, obviously, you buy like a month ahead for holiday stock up. We have our holiday stock up guide, should be coming out in the next 2 weeks or so.
If you're a retailer and you're not stocking up right now, what are you doing?
Yeah, you need to be planning for it. So we have a cool little guide we put together of all the stuff that's like going to do well for you based on your various price points of investments. If you're a $400 game all-in store, or you're a little card game for a $15.99 store, kind of have a little guide for that. So check that out.
Nice.
And somebody put up a blog about like how you can help your game sell better on
Oh, that's something,
bridgedisc.com.
that's something you could grind your gears about, like the stuff not moving. And
I got it all out in
Yeah.
the writing. But yeah, long story short, support your game on your side and it will sell better. It's a wacky concept. But we're
Yeah.
going into more detail, like how to do social media. Don't just put a picture up and then go, well, I put a picture up. Why isn't my game selling? Like how to use that. The next one's going to be real inside baseball on keyword advertising and SEO optimization and stuff like that. But it's all stuff that if you've got a game out, maybe not Boop is not a good example for this because it sells itself, but
Boop literally does sell stuff.
yeah, if you've got a game out and you're wondering, hey, okay, how do I get the head up over all these other
Trying to see
companies?
is there anything here.
We got nothing but hits over there.
I was trying to see if any of our games were there, just to kind of use an example that wouldn't offend anybody.
Oh,
And all I see is For Northward, which has sold out
It does really well,
like
yeah.
2 print runs of like 5,000 plus each. Ooh, there's some ham and Mechanical Beast. That's kind of
Mechanical Beast is what? That
Yeah.
should sell better because it's a really fun game, but it is hard to explain and it's a little esoteric, and that's one of the challenges you have with that kind of stuff. So the way you get in front of people is not necessarily just, hey, here's a picture of my game on Facebook, woo, all kinds of cool nuances. Keyword buys is something that nobody in our industry does, not even the big guys.
Yeah.
So if you want to know why
Don't
you keep...
start, because we're going.
Yeah, don't start. I bought all your keywords. They're all mine now.
All the big guys do is sell you cease and desist because they don't like that you bought up all the domains to their websites.
Oh wait, I'm fine. Never mind.
I'm fine now.
Yeah,
now if you go to Atlanta, James Warhammer,
That's the
it doesn't link to gigabytes anymore. It used to.
yeah. Turns out
It's very offensive to do that. It seems.
that horse is a little litigious. I don't know.
Apparently, people don't like it when you corner the market.
Well, they should just be as awesome as we are.
People don't like it when you corner the market and are the OG game store or the OG Rambles, the OG.
Just the OG.
The OG.
Just, we've been here. We're my friend who does not live in Georgia, who watches all these videos. So hello out there. I'm not going to call him out by name.
Let's just call him Steve.
Let's just call them Steve. So Steve wrote me a text message and was like, "Hey, I really love the videos. I thought you guys did like a full restaurant thing and like had video games and stuff." And I was like, "That's Battle and Brew, my dude. That's not it's not the same place." But it was kind of funny that they were like, "Yeah, I see all those ads," and I'm like, "That looks really awesome." So apparently, thanks for advertising for us.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, actually, it hit us with this week because this is actually our anniversary month for Gigabytes. It's actually also my
right.
anniversary today.
Well,
Love
happy
you, babe.
anniversary.
Neither she nor I remembered this morning. somebody else had to remind us.
That's the best
"Oh,
case
just went
scenario,
on
at
vacation
least."
last week. It was fine. We were on a cruise. But yeah, it was Gigabytes anniversary. When I say the OG, it's actually not like messing.
No,
But
is it 16 years?
17 years.
17 years.
17 years of bitty and fun.
Can almost enlist in the armed services.
That's true.
Yeah. Can't buy cigarettes yet.
Can't buy cigarettes yet.
Got to buy them behind the Quickie Mart next to the
But
gigabytes.
yeah, 17 years of gigabytes. 70 more to come.
Oh no! I mean, yeah. It's a single tier, yeah.
Almost 60.
You know, we should definitely put together something that's like talking about the history of that, because I think, and not on this rambles because we don't want to make it another hour and a half, but I would love to just ask questions of like what it's like to have run a retail store. Not only because game stores, for many of our retailers, seem to die a lot. Every email goes out, I get one back that says, "Hey, we're no longer in operation.
Yeah.
Please remove us from stuff."
It's hard. I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to run a game store. Like, a big issue. I mean, we've really gone through a lot of topics here today, it seems.
You said we'd rambled.
Yeah. Completely scriptless.
Yeah.
A big issue is people open game stores and they think it's going to be fun, right? They think they're going to play games. Like I said earlier, I don't really play board games. Not because I don't want to. Mostly I don't want to. But I just don't have time, right? Because you're in the business of doing work.
Yeah.
And literally I sit down and I go, oh, I can play a game or I can do this budgeting or ordering instead. Guess I'll do that so I can go to bed at a reasonable hour. And that's just kind of how it is. You have to run it like a business, like it is, and then game stores are extra hard because you also can't run it like a normal business, right? Because you can't just, which is what leads into yours. How do I sell my game? You can't just buy this, put it on a shelf, and it just magically sells, right?
Right.
You're not a Target. You can't do that, right? Because you don't have a captive audience off top who are going there and will buy it and stuff. So you have to do the work in building a community. And I think a big error a lot of places make is they don't build that community. Like a lot of places think, I have the biggest store, I have the most product, I have,
Look at all these LEDs on the wall.
yeah,
Right,
like
that
I
kind
have
of
a
stuff.
cool sign or whatever, but they don't have the community, right? They don't have, just like, I look at Gigabytes and, I walk in there, I'll be sure, I go, oh man, this is looking a bit, it's been 17 years, it's looking a bit faded, it's looking a bit tired. But then you're like, but does that really, in a business sense, move the needle enough, right? It's all about building community and connecting with people, and then you have to work to keep that connection. I think that's the hardest part. Like when we have people who quit Gigabytes, right? And we have our staff who have worked there for a long time. I think John Galvin, the general manager, has been there over a decade.
I thought he just came with the building.
Yeah,
He just
I
was
think
there.
Rob and Nasha have been there like 8+ years. But our general staff, they're like a year or two turnover. And when you do the exit interviews, most of the time it's the burnout of being constantly on. And that's the hardest part because you can't just run a game store as you've got to run it like a business, but you can't just run it like a business.
You have to staff it like almost an entertainment company kind of thing,
Yeah,
where your
yeah.
people are their talent, because it's not just, hey, I'm at Target, I get this, and I got some groceries.
And then
some
you
toilet
but then you
paper.
have to manage the talent and make sure they don't flame out too fast. But still keeping it interesting because you can't just throw them in front of a camera without a script and expect them to work magic. But you also can, because that's what we have to do.
Yeah. I'm a fringe case here. I don't know. I'm drinking like Trump today. I got to wave my other hand.
I was dancing like Trump.
Some tall giraffes.
Like you have to have it's weird. It's hard to explain because you have to have the energy, you have to have charisma, you have to work to the strengths, but you can't go too hard because you can't burn people out. Actually, was another reason it was great being at Essen and all, because I wasn't on the rambles for a few weeks and
What?
I feel refreshed now and ready to ramble. But yeah, 17 years.
No, let's dive in on another slow week when we don't have cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
Like
I could do
some
a whole ramble about decision making at Gigabytes. When David killed, I used to have a mug that said, "Your game system is dead now, God bless." And I'd walk around whenever I was like putting something in the chopping block. I'd make tea with that and just walk around and go, "Yeah, goodbye Infinity for the 5th time." Or no more, is it? Goodbye Kings of War for the 17th time.
yeah, Kings
when
of
people promise me, and again, that's actually a great example. You have to build a community because a game will not live without a community, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to decide, this community ain't going to happen, right? Because the publishing company might have done something wrong, and I love Kings of War, I love Mantic, I think they're a fantastic company, but their big error was when they launched their game. Games Workshop committed the sin of murdering fantasy, and it was an opening for Mantic to come in with Kings of War, and, and everyone went, I'm going to pick Kings of War. And they said, you don't have to use our miniatures. And
Whoops.
all the player base went, this is fantastic. I don't have to use your miniatures. I can use my fantasy. I can play the game. And in the retail store, you're like, cool, I have all these miniatures and nobody's going to buy.
Yeah.
And so you had player base who were like going to the Dollar Tree and buying $1 miniature for like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting on all these boxes and you're out with the sales. So you're running your business like a business. So you're looking at the data. And you're seeing the data says I'm not moving. But your player base is like, we play. And you're like, yeah, but you're not moving. And it's the community is not there because the community is not supporting the store. Like you might be trying to support the community, but the community is not coming back to the store. And that's when you make those hard decisions, just kill it. And my love of Mantic as a company made me try bring that game back like 3 times. Play
I
it.
remember that, yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I could not get a good, valid, sustaining community to form. It just would not happen because the original message was you don't need to buy models, which means we wouldn't stock the models, which means there was no models for new players to buy. And the community became insular and wouldn't invite new people. And even if they did, there was no models for them to buy, or they just told them to go to the Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So the game died. Conquest is another one that's a lot like that. It's very hard to form that community.
Yeah.
I'll name them all.
Where is War Machine Hordes in this? Because it comes
War
back
Machine-
and dies and comes back and dies. Like
It
a
does.
phoenix.
War Machine is interesting. We're carrying more War Machine. We moved War Machine. The problem with War Machine was the game system of War Machine was, again, I love the game. It was like I actually really enjoyed the game. I lost horribly most times I played it, but I really enjoyed the idea of Menoth. But the community
Something like that over here?
the community in the game was inherently insular, right? Because they themed it as this is the hardcore competitive game, and they knew that and they owned it. But then that limits your player base.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make a game hardcore competitive, they go, only these lists work. You can only play with these models, and then you're sitting on a range of models that don't move because they're not the cool stuff.
They're not the meta.
And luckily, Games Workshop got away from this because Games Workshop was going that way, and then they moved away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They actually like hard nosed left to the hobby, which is way better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to play a mega competitive
Well, you look,
miniatures game.
yeah, and making mega competitive is super great, but what does it really do? Right? You have to. It's not building a full community. You look at Warzone Atlanta, right? It's a fantastic group of people, right? They do 40K, they do fantasy. There was an event last weekend with like 200 people. Everything's packed. Everyone's playing. What did it bring for the game and the community? Probably not a lot. I mean, it's necessity, right? It's great because they're great and it has to have that market. But what does it bring on a business sense? What does it bring? What does it gain you? Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
And so War Machine did the same. But so War Machine, but not even that sometimes. War Machine did the same. War Machine went hardcore, and you had this gigantic SKU creep, but people weren't buying the gigantic SKUs, so the game started to die. Stores saw, hey, we're not making these sales. They stopped carrying it. The player base was super competitive. Saw the stores weren't carrying, so they just bought online, and then the community withers away and dies. And the best thing to happen to War Machine was Steamforge took it over. Because Steamforge took it over, redid all the boxes, no more blisters, everything's self-contained boxes so far. And now the test is, can you build a community from that? And that is the test. Will a community form, or will it be the same people who've played the game for 17 years, and it won't grow?
Yeah. Now, community building is one of those things, and I'll say, because like 4 years, 6 years ago, I don't know, whenever I started doing Age of Sigmar up at the place there, and there was only like 6 of us.
Yep.
Basically, and I'm not taking any credit for building the community, but I was there enough that I think people came in, and I brought some friends in, and it kind of grew naturally.
Creator of community.
Oh man, except for season 4, that one was the gas leak season. So I wish I had my community shirt on. That would have been a great joke.
Oh, the show. I never watched the show.
Yeah. But like, I'm going to counteract that. So Age of Sigmar's grown now, has a healthy community, has the Path to Glory going on. And then I'm going to opposite that with Batman, a game that I think 3 of you out there play with me sometimes. And that's it. And it's a really fun game. It's beautiful models. It's actually
I think
creative.
the problem with Batman, I was going to state this, the problem that nearly killed Age of Sigmar at the start was, I said you can't go too far competitive. The opposite is also true. You can't go too far hobby, relaxed, casual. You can't make a game with no points.
Yeah.
Right? I think Batman's the same. Isn't Batman like, a person can have like 10 villains against Batman?
Yeah, the list, it is impossible. So every army faction, whatever you want to call them, plays super thematically to the character, which means that sometimes the matchups are just real bad because it's Bane versus Scarecrow, and he runs over and goes, "Shut up, nerd," and then that's the whole match basically. So like sometimes it's really challenging to do. And I think the other thing with Batman is, there's a 4-month delay sometimes of getting stuff. And there's no starter sets available anytime, which is the only place to get the rules.
Let me tell you, my problem's there. But that's a fulfillment issue there. Like that's a why are you a Spanish company not having your product in the US?
I tried Batman Friends. I
I
tried so hard.
That is a specific Spanish thing because Infinity is the same. Like it's very hard to get Infinity products in the US, like because they ship from Spain most of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
So there's a lot of stuff that goes into building a community. So it's really impressive that Gigabytes has held on to so many of them. I go up and I see people playing games that I'm like, I've never seen that before. But it's cool.
But in the last few years, like we've stepped back a little bit from doing it because it has been harder. Obviously, the pandemic didn't help, right? Because people didn't go out, so that stymied a lot of small communities. Like we cut back our historicals. A lot of people may notice, and I love historicals. I mean, I'm a hardcore Napoleonics fan. Never played a Napoleonics game. I just loved the era, right?
I haven't seen that.
It's my romantic era.
I haven't seen that one game that took up 3 tables that those guys play sometimes.
Because they don't. It kills communities. And the problem is because the community disappeared, we stopped carrying the product, which stopped any community from coming back. So there it is an example, right?
It's an Ouroboros of a community eating itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a positive note to end the show. Well, no, but so I want to say just thank you to everybody who does come out to Gigabytes and play. And of course, buy things and food and leave us good reviews and things and stuff like that. Like, we love it. But like coming out and just being there and having the games out, I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a game, like Age of Sigmar is pretty much the only ones I play regularly, and people have stopped and like gone, "Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I was thinking about getting into this. Oh, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me show you how to join this community."
Yeah.
Because
that's
more people.
That's a curated community of positivity, right? It's not just there. It's not just there to be ego. It's the store has to exist for people to have a place to go, right? Third space. I can't say it. Third place.
Third place.
Third
space place.
But in return, you have to still curate that to be an open, welcoming community. So when someone walks up to your table and goes, "That's a really cool model," that you're just not like, get lost in there.
Yeah.
Like no gremlins allowed.
Yeah.
And I think we've managed to do that really well at the store.
Yeah, I never feel uncomfortable just asking somebody like, "Oh, that's a really cool paint job. How did you do that metal and that kind of stuff?" So, come out to Gigabytes and check out that was the metal. I like that. Yeah. Come out and play some games and join the community. It's especially as we get into it's nice to be inside season because the air conditioning can keep up and it's not sweltering and it's also not too cold. This is a good time.
And we got some great events that we're going to probably share. I think you said you were going to post in the comments.
The links. There's a blood drive. There's an art thing. There's a bunch of stuff.
I think we have a market coming up at some point.
Yes.
I'm sure we have a market coming up because you always do the markets. Blood drive. We have Spooky D&D. We've got Age of Sigmar thing.
Mm-hmm. There's a 40K
I
RTT.
started counting the 5 the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's the German way, I guess. What's the difference? Drag laser?
Yeah, because you can't do the thumb out because then they know you're a spy.
No, then they know you're not from where you said you were from.
Yeah, because I sort of remember that movie a little bit.
The drag laser. There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I learned in Germany.
That was the whole reason we sent you there.
Yeah, so spooky. So lots of great events at Gigabytes. Great community. 17 years of wondrous fun. Me, Zach.
Some other people.
Some other people.
Some people that actually did stuff. I just sort of showed up and I was just like, I can make videos for you. And then David hasn't been able to get rid of me yet.
No.
Yeah.
I would never.
He tried. The bear trap didn't work. Sorry, Phil. Phil's in the bear trap.
Oh, yes.
He fell for it again. We put a latte in the middle of it.
We put a latte.
Dove right in.
We put a latte and some flannel in there.
That's what it looks like when Phil gets raptured. It's just a latte and some flannel. And strong opinions on Pride and Prejudice, and that's it. That's all that's left. Everything else goes up.
Really?
Yeah, he loves that movie / book, or maybe just the movie. I don't know.
The one with zombies?
I don't think he prefers it zombie free.
Ooh, we should
prefers
do that.
Regular style.
See, that should be the next rambles because that was spooky. Is like, what are the best zombie movies?
Oh, actually, if you want to end this on a question, because we're going to do a man on the street interview of monster movie fights. I'm sorry. This is for the next episode.
Oh, good.
We've been coming up with movie monsters to say who would win in a classic horror movie monster fight. Rules being no sci-fi, because sci-fi, like Alien, Predator, they have an advantage. B, it's just too different. The Thing from Event Horizon. But then also
the Thing from Event Horizon was hell.
Yeah, it's just the warp. Yeah,
Hell.
yeah. I'm Alan Grant from Event Horizon.
Event Horizon is like proto Warhammer
Same.
40k.
Yeah. Was that 40k, right? Somebody definitely read some 40k novels
Yeah,
before
he
they
is the emperor.
shot that movie.
He's one of the last Primarchs.
So we
There you
were.
go.
Sam Neill is one of the last Primarchs. We heard it here.
He's a dinosaur one.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Yeah, he can talk dinosaurs.
Space Marine dinosaurs. So let us know in the comments what horror movie monsters you want to see fight off against each other. We've got Frankenstein's monster, werewolf, the birds from The Birds is in there,
And best Halloween movies.
and best Halloween movies. Yeah, what are you watching? Is Terrifier 3 good? I'm not going to go see it, but
Yeah.
tell me. Venom 3 is out. I don't know if
I
it's going
watched
to be
Salem's
scary.
Lot. Salem's Lot was a movie.
Oh, the new one?
It was good. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
It was all right.
Good, good.
It's worth a watch. One single watch.
One single, I can do that. I can do
One
a
single
single. It's
watch.
one single watch.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I saw Salem's Lot.
Yeah. What
And that's the conversation.
And that's it. Except one last thing I have to tell you. I don't know if you saw this, and then we're gonna go. Did you see that Alien Romulus is being released on VHS? I'm actually really excited about that because I have a VHS player still. Yeah.
Goodbye. Goodbye. With that, goodbye.
Thanks for coming to the
Oh my
Rambles.
God.
Goodbye. Get out of here.
VHS, man.
Go buy a giant space hamster. That's not in focus at all. It's just.